to I Owe You Some Money Education, because we owe you and you guys owe me some money education because I didn't really learn it growing up.
We're Soph and Vic from The Curve, and we have roped in Lucy Blakiston from Shit You Should Care About so that she can ask all the questions that you wish you could.
And if you want to watch this episode on YouTube, click the link in the podcast show notes below. And please leave us a comment, rate, review, share with your friends. We'd love to hear it.
Oh my God, and actually also, if you want to see me learn how to implement everything that they've tried to teach me, we have I Owe You the practical lessons, where there's actually a course where you can do everything we've taught you how to do. It's really easy, it's really fun. The link for that is also in the show notes. Coming up in this episode, we spoke about our relationship with money, which was quite interesting because you're not often having to sit on a mic and tell everyone about your family history with money, why you may spend the way you do, why you may save the way you do. So it was kind of like a therapy session / finance session. Also, towards the end, I didn't realize that this was going to happen, but there were some voice notes that my loving family had very kindly provided the girls at The Curve with, and I was very lightly called out on 4 different occasions. So I think you're really going to love this one, and we can't wait to hear about your relationship with money too.
This episode of I Owe You Some Money Education is proudly brought to you by the Bank of New Zealand. When you're just starting out, managing your money should feel easy so that you can focus on winning at whatever you're doing.
Whether you're flatting, saving to travel, or making a career move, they have all the tools to help you master your money from the get-go.
Thanks so much to the Bank of New Zealand for making I Owe You Some Money Education possible. Don't forget to check out I Owe You the practical lessons to put what you're learning into practice. Find the details in the podcast show notes. Welcome to our brand new podcast. This is the first episode. It's also very exciting to have a third co-host.
Exciting or just huge admin?
I think it's quite fun to have a third voice because Vic and I, we've spoken for probably like 500 hours, just the two of us on the podcast.
Far too long.
Yeah.
So to have like, some fresh energy, a new beginner on board is quite exciting.
I hope I can bring the energy that you require.
No pressure.
Actually, I can. I know I can.
When our podcast started 5 years ago, I didn't know what a stock was. I was so cute and young and knew nothing about money.
Yeah.
We sort of, I guess over the last 6 months have been looking at our content and our podcast, and our audience has really grown with us in terms of so many people now understand the basics. But then there's this huge amount of people that kind of get left behind because they missed the podcast 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're now talking about ETFs and the NASDAQ and like S&P 500, and they're like, what? Oh my gosh. Yeah, which is fair. Yeah.
So it's almost like if you have a Game of Thrones with 7 seasons and you're like, can I be bothered going back to the start?
Yeah.
No. So we thought we'll start again.
We're season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. We'll get a beginner on, except you're not that beginner.
I actually was thinking this, but I'm really good at asking the questions that need to be asked, because I was thinking I'm not really a beginner anymore because I run a whole business and like I'm actually not that bad with money, but I always forget what like definitions for things are. I wasn't quite sure like what the point of an IPO was or what an IPO was. Like I'm just going to ask. So I think I will still be there to fill the gaps without putting myself like way down here, because I actually do know a little bit.
And I guess that's a good point, right? Like if you run a business, you're kind of forced into looking at money. You have to. Whereas if you hadn't gone down that path with shit you should care about, you probably would have no idea, right? Like because you wouldn't have been forced into thinking about it.
And still, if I didn't have an accountant, I would never look at the accounts. It's just like not what I live for.
I love that you have an accountant.
Of course I have an accountant, because you're meant to hire people that know stuff that you don't know.
Yes.
It's my brother's best friend, or one of his best friends that he lived with at uni, and I just have a meeting with him on Zoom once a month, and he goes, "You're going all good, Lucy." And I'm like, "Are you sure? Is this business going to be around in the next few years?" And he was like, "Yes, you barely spend any money from the business."
Do you?
And then 1 month he's like, no, you've run out.
He's literally like, "Why have you gone to London? Like, what is all these pints on your
You said I was okay. You said I was okay.
You said I was fine." He's like, "Close down shit you should care about."
So, Luce, for anyone that doesn't know what shit you should care about is or who you are, this is going to sound really beginner, but could you maybe just give an introduction? Because I know you've been on our podcast before, actually twice now. You've been on our Curve Weekly podcast, our news episode, and we've done an interview with you. But for anyone that's found this podcast through your channels, or maybe who has seen it through our channels and realized it's kind of a beginner podcast and wants to know a bit more about you and why you're sort of the fill-in Sophie or the new beginner in this dynamic. What is your business? How have you ended up here?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Lucy. I run a business called Shit You Should Care About. Not sure if you two know that.
Do you know that?
Oh.
No, never heard of it.
Sorry,
Really
what's your
small.
name again? How did you come up with that name?
I was sitting in my uni lecture theatre and I text my two best friends saying, I think we should start a business called Shit You Should Care About. It was just the first thing that came to my mind.
It's just so good.
It's so stickable. Anyway, what else can I tell you? I write a newsletter. I have an Instagram that tells people about the news and helps make the world make sense. It's called Shit You Should Care About. It has about 3-point-something million followers.
Which is
really chill and not scary.
Wild.
Yeah, I know.
Does it give you anxiety ever posting?
I think I'm just, in my personal, I'm just not scared to be seen. I don't think you could do my job if you were scared of being like perceived or seen. But then also I've been doing this for 6 years now, 8 years. I don't know, I started in 2018, so 7 years. And I'm just like brave. And also if you don't want to learn about stuff or you don't want to hear what I care about or what I think you guys should care about, just don't follow me. Also, I'm medicated, like I'm on antidepressants. I actually think that does really help. And I didn't show my face online for like the first 5 years of the business. So it's like I could grow up and like become who I am, be really proud of who I am, be brave. And then I kind of like came out to the world as Lucy Blakiston. And first of all, no one gave a shit who I was, which I was like, slay. Second of all, I just do not care what people think. And I'm just here trying to do my job. So I don't know. I just feel brave.
When you look at, can I just also say it's so cool to hear people being proud of the things that you're good at, because I think it's so easy to be really open about the stuff you're bad at, but to be proud and to know where you're good is also like just to own it and be confident. Like I'm brave and I'm able to share things because I want to help make sense of the world and help other people make sense of the world. So no, I'm not scared is just so cool. For anyone that doesn't know, in terms of, because this is obviously a money podcast, how does your business make money? What is the business like revenue model?
This is the question I get asked the most out of it's always, what famous people follow you and how do you make money? And I way prefer answering the how do you make money one.
Can you answer the first one too though? I'm like,
oh my God. Okay, controversial ones. Joe Rogan.
No way.
Yeah. I don't know if this is still controversial, but Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Still, I mean, quite wild. Both of them follow.
Bella Hadid, Madonna.
No way. Sorry, I'm trying to not be.
I know.
Every caption I'd be like,
every caption, hi Madonna, if you're watching this.
Or I would just like put like a sheet over my head and do her like iconic, like the dress up.
People that have unfollowed though in my time.
Quite
this is a good one. Ariana Grande, Dua Lipa, Reese Witherspoon. I always like to like humble myself by telling everyone like, I think these people stopped caring about things because they stopped following Shit You Should Care About. No.
I wonder why they did stop. Do you know when? Okay. Like, do you get a notification what you were posting about at the time?
No. I just like knew that they were following and then like, I don't know, 6 months later or whatever, I was on their page and it no longer said follow back.
Wow, weird.
Who else? Olivia Rodrigo, but in her defense, she unfollowed everyone. Like she went to 0 following.
So it's not personal.
So actually it's not personal between me and Liv. But I do like to humble myself by reminding everyone that I get unfollowed as well. But yeah, that's crazy. Joe Rogan is always like a buzzy one for me.
How?
Anyway, how do I make money?
Yes.
My favorite way of making money is I write a daily newsletter and people can subscribe to that just because they love what I'm doing. It's still free. Like it's every day your news will be free because I'm like the whole reason I started this business was to make sure young people could access the news and understand it. But if you want bonus content, like to be added to our close friends or be part of the book club, or I have like a pen pal sort of system where I write to the paid supporters, then you can pay and get all those cute extras. But it's like you come for the news and you pay for the friendship, which is kind of a weird thing to say.
It's so interesting because it's normally the opposite, right?
I know, but it really works and it's really nice because it means the older generation, because we have a bunch of, honestly, our readers are of all ages, but the older generation will often pay so then the younger generation can continue to get it for free, which I really love. So that's the best way of making money because it means I'm just doing what I love and I'm doing what they love.
So
and
Madonna pays so Liv can get it for free.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. How much is it?
$8 a month, which is so good. And so that pays my salary, which is amazing. Then I also do, honestly, I do like 1 or 2 big partnerships a year because I really don't like advertising stuff and I'm not good at, it's actually not that I'm not good at it. It's not in my soul to like promote things. Unless it's like a movie I love, or I love working on like cultural promotions.
Can I just say, what was you just mentioned you only really do 1 or 2 big brand partnerships a year. And this is obviously empowered by BNZ, which is a brand.
Yeah.
And it's a New Zealand bank. And I'm curious to know, like, what was the reason that you were interested in doing content about money and particularly with us and them? Because if you only do 1 or 2 a year,
we're kind of flattered.
Well, no,
and
honestly, I was going to say not to like vanity, not to like
blow smoke about us.
Not to blow smoke up you guys' ass, but it was because, first of all, I love doing stuff with Kiwis. I love working with New Zealand brands, even though we have a global reach. I love working with New Zealand brands, but often they have way smaller budgets than US brands or whatever. But BNZ plus The Curve plus Shit You Should Care About just seemed really cool, fun. And also when I wrote a newsletter after doing an interview with you for The Curve about investing. And because after I talked to you, I was like, oh my God, I need to show my flatmates how to set up an auto invest on Sharesies because why the hell do they not do that? And so I got a little bit empowered and then I taught them. And then I was like, wait, if I'm teaching them how to do this, I might as well teach the audience. So easy. And like wasn't giving them advice. It was literally showing log onto Sharesies, do this, press auto invest. So I did that and it got like an amazing response. And then you clocked it and were like, did your audience like this? Would you be interested in doing something bigger? And I was like, yes, they always want to know about money. For some reason, no matter how much you learn about it online or whatever, it still feels mystifying. So I thought maybe if we're talking it through, it will feel less mystifying. And so, yeah, and it just sounded really fun.
And I also think for your audience, like you don't talk about money a lot.
No.
So it's like, but everyone's very interested in it. And I think it's kind of takes it out of this world of like finance and investing and brings it into an everyday world of like, no, actually, we can all learn this. We can all do better.
Yeah.
We can all,
It's like not that hard.
Yeah.
That's what I want people to know.
Well, I think even when we're planning these episodes and also obviously there's like the practical course if people want to go deeper and really like action what they're learning. But I was thinking, gosh, this is like, it's really so simple and so straightforward. So yeah, I think anyone listening to this podcast or doing the course is going to learn so much. What we're going to do is start every single episode with you for the IOU podcast. We're going to do, are you in the red or are you in the green?
Yes.
So like at the start of every episode, I realize this is very far through this first episode, but just like a chance to show that all of us, even Vic and I, who have spent, me like 4 years learning about money and Vic her whole life being good with money, that we all have good and bad months and weeks.
Yeah.
Never, not in a million years, absolutely not.
In the red. Green with envy. Or green.
Do you want to start maybe, Vic? Are you in the green or the red this month? What's been happening?
This month for me is probably red. So just like Christmas time and New Year's, just always a lot of spending.
Yeah. You always
a lot of drinking, a lot of socializing.
Yeah. And I think also it is just the time of year where like firstly you want to be generous and give money and time to everyone around you, but at the same time you end up spending on yourself too because you want to go and I don't know, it ends up being like expensive for you to have fun and to be giving to other people.
Well, there's also months when you're like, oh, you know what, I don't have a lot socially in the calendar or whatever. I'm just gonna, this is my saving month, or this month I'm gonna kind of get back in the green.
Yeah.
Yeah. December, January hasn't been those months. But I always know they're not, right? So it's kind of like, you're like, it's fine.
You also are quite good at planning towards Christmas and New Year, where like October, you start putting money aside for gifts.
Yeah.
Which last year, this hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, sorry, what? You've been planning since October? And she was like, yeah, I just buy a couple each month so it's less scary in December. And I just was like, that is the most clever thing ever. And I will do that forever now.
I think the earliest I started this year was September.
God, that's disgusting.
But it's only because I see things and I'm like, oh, perfect. That's
No, I mean, it's clever. It's really clever.
I'm just like Vic.
Really?
So my love language, anyone that knows me, is gift giving. Like I love buying or making or giving gifts. It doesn't have to be an occasion. I just will get you a gift because I've thought of you and I love it.
I'm so glad I'm your friend now.
No, yeah, honestly, I'm like, oh shit, guys, I actually haven't bought these two anything except for my presents. No, so I am the same. I buy gifts all year round and sometimes I bank them and sometimes I just get to like, oh, I want the instant gratification of giving it to you, so I'm just going to give it. Christmas is always in the red for me because I love spoiling my brothers. They never buy shit for themselves. They never buy clothes. I just love doing that for them. So I'm like, Vic, I'm in the red this month. But I kind of love it because it's my favorite time of year because I love giving gifts. But my family never knows what to buy me because also, as I'm sure we'll get to on this podcast, if I see something that I want, I will buy it. So it's hard to buy for me because I'm buying it for myself.
Yeah.
I've started to be better with that, like leading up to my birthday, kind of thinking of things that I need or not buying for myself because my parents always ask me and I never say what I want. So yeah.
You guys are so planned.
But we have different brains. Sometimes I think me and you have a similar brain, but then sometimes I'm like, hers is actually crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I'm so in the red, it's not funny, but for like the most embarrassing, ridiculous reason ever.
Why?
I basically for 6 months have been in my house and my wardrobes have been broken.
Oh.
And so there's been just shit spilling out everywhere and I've hated it. I've had like a pile of clothes on the floor because they don't fit in my, anyway, point is I spent the weekend going through. This is obviously it's an expensive time of year anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like starting the year after Christmas and New Year sucks. But basically what I did was I went on Gumtree. I found these wardrobes and I thought, oh my God, they're £100. This is really cheap. Bought 2 of them. And I was getting hammered by this guy on my WhatsApp being like, hi, ma'am, can we deliver them? Hi, ma'am, do you want drawers? Hi, like really, really intensely. And I was like, God, this guy's really onto it. Like, wow, it's so good.
Maybe he likes me.
Wow, this is a lot. Anyway, so they got delivered.
He's like, what's your address?
Yes.
And what's your bank account details?
No, 100%. This is the whole thing. So then I was feeling very confident. They were dropped off at my house.
Were they Temu size? Like this big?
No, but they don't. They didn't fit up my stairs.
Oh, shit. So the other problem.
So the problem being that they were like, it's fine. All you've got to do is take the sides and the roof off and you'll get them up the stairs. And I was like, oh, and I was, you know that gut feeling where you're like, I'm pretty sure something's off here. But
I'm
actually
scared.
The idea of trying to like figure out a solution B for my wardrobe, I'm just like, this feels like the easier option. So I was like, okay, fine, just leave them. Left them, started trying to like take them apart, realized they were quite Temu energy. Firstly, I'm terrible at DIY. Tried to take the door off for my room, couldn't get them up. Like honestly, it's been a effing nightmare. So not only am I in the red from the whole situation having them delivered, but I've had to get like all these people. I've done Airtasker to try to get people to help me. Now I've had to take all of them apart, take them up to honestly, on top of what has been an expensive time of year, I've basically been scammed. They told me I was going to get drawers in one. There's no drawers in one. The whole thing just basically I messaged them being like, could you please come pick these up? These don't fit in my house and like they're not what you said.
And
they've just
you.
Crickets.
Fair enough. I would cricket too.
No, Simon. Haha, you're the idiot that spent the money. But that's not what I actually think.
It sucks though because like they sent me photos being like, this is where the drawers are going to be. And then I open them up and they're just like.
You're in the red financially and in terms of stress, I think. Yeah. You're like in a happiness deficit.
Yeah, it's a bit
That
sad.
happened to me in Sydney. I had a bed delivered and it didn't fit up the stairs. And then I got it. So then I had to organise for another one to be sent that was smaller. And it was about to arrive. And this is like a week or 2 of living on a mattress. And it arrived and I locked myself out the back of the house in my dressing gown. And I was the delivery guy comes and I can see him through this hole. And I'm trying to talk to him. I'm like, can you just leave it? And he's like, you need to come out. I was like, I can't get there. Like, and I'm trying to talk to him and then it starts raining. He leaves it and it starts raining. So I can see my mattress getting wet. I'm stuck out. Honestly, I was like, why did I move to Sydney? I was like, this sucks.
I would have literally been Uber to the airport, thanks. Like, I'm going
I'm kind of like, it's quite validating that you've experienced something that annoying. I'm very in the red. I've gone to maroon almost at this point.
So we're all deep in red.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so today, the point of our lesson/podcast is we're going to start talking about money mindsets and your relationship with money, which I think a lot of people crawl up their own assholes when they hear this because it is like anything that revolves around having to look at yourself. A lot of people are not happy with the idea of that. They just want the quick fix. They want to just know they're like, ABC, this is how you budget or this is how you make money. But honestly, taking it from someone who has had the worst, most scared mindset ever, having definitely, I've improved it. It's still a work on, But I would say having looked at that and spent time trying to unpack my own relationship with money has been single-handedly one of the biggest things that's unlocked for me to be able to move into more of an abundance, wealth-growing mindset.
And I think people, when they go to budget or like sort out their money, they're like, they try, it doesn't work. They try again, they try a different way. And it's like, no, it's not the actual process. The fact that you haven't gone back and kind of looked at your habits and your patterns and your beliefs around money, because that's the unlock. It's not just trying a different spreadsheet or trying a different calculator.
It's like therapy for yourself, which personally I love. I love looking at myself. Like, actually, yeah. I love like reflecting on myself. Yeah.
A lot of people hate it.
Yes.
And it's really such a fundamental part of being better with your money. And I think maybe a good way to start this is for just us to be quite honest with each other and people listening with what our own relationship with money is, whether it's like gone from a certain place and it's evolved. Like I think if we're just really honest, it maybe gives people an idea of, because also from the outside, I think if you've had, whether you've had a quote unquote, like, privileged upbringing or not, I really don't think it matters. I think a lot of us are impacted. I mean, our money stories start and are developed and quite cemented by the time we're 7.
Wow.
So like even if your parents are amazing and they give you so much love and opportunity and you grew up in a really supportive household, a lot of us can still have quite weird relationships with money. And that's definitely been my experience. But did either of you guys feel comfortable sharing yours?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
I feel very comfortable sharing mine. Okay, so I have this is actually one of my favorite stories. I have this distinct memory because I was a nosy kid, right? And my family grew up like middle class, small town, but we never went without, like as kids. And I remember 2008, global financial crisis.
You remember that?
I don't remember the global financial crisis. What I remember is being nosy and going and opening my parents' mail for don't even know why, nosy reasons. And
I sometimes stole neighbours' mail and opened it. That's how much of a rogue child I was.
That's pretty rogue.
So like illegal.
I can kind of relate. But anyway, I opened it up and it was a bank statement and it was like so much money in the red. And it was like, and I remember I asked my parents, what is an overdraft? And they were like, that is not for you to worry about, darling. And then I would go and I couldn't sleep because I was thinking, my family is poor. Like we had a family of 6. I was like, how are we going to get groceries? What am I going to do? And I would have been like 10. Like,
and also like it could have been their mortgage, right? And then they've got
genuinely was. I've asked them now that we're older and like I was like, do you guys remember when I read that? And they were like, yes. And we tried to stop me freaking out about it because it was like fine. So I remember being a really stressed out, nosy kid about money because of that. But also I had jobs since I was, even before I could have jobs, I was the kid, selling lemonade on the street and mum would make jam and I'd walk around the houses and sell it. And then I delivered the newspaper and then
You guys are had the same. Yeah.
I sold paintings, my own paintings. Not lemonade, but then I did the paper round. Yeah.
The
my
paper
fingers would be all black.
Yes, because you have to get up in the morning, fold them all and then go.
All.
And it's like we were doing that before. I was doing that before like intermediate or primary
school.
So
how weird that it was news that you like
I
almost your first job.
My first proper job was delivering the news, and now my job is
really
delivering the news, just in a different way. And so me and my brothers were always encouraged to just get jobs, even though mum and dad didn't often say no to things that we needed or wanted. They still were like, you should get a job and like learn how to save. So then all through uni and whatever, I worked. And I think because of that, because I had security in my family that if anything went wrong, like I'm not going to lie and say they couldn't help. I knew I had someone that could help me if, at uni I needed help for rent, which I didn't, but I knew it was there. My relationship to money's always been pretty healthy because I've known that if I need it, I just need to work and get it.
It would be so hard being a parent, right? Because you want to instill this drive in your kids and like this desire to have their own jobs, their own income.
Yeah.
But then you also like as a parent would of course want to provide that safety net should anything happen, but you wouldn't want to let them know about that.
I know.
It's like this constant like
yeah. And then it was interesting starting a business because a lot of people that tried to mentor me or talk to me they were from Auckland or big cities and they had really rich parents and they had these like fallback options Whereas my parents have made it, like, divorced when I was a bit older, and they made it very clear that, like, if I want to buy a house, you know, they can't really help. Or the business, it was never like, oh, but my family's got like $1 million that they can invest into the business or whatever. So it was interesting. It was interesting when I started the business being like, I can't really take a lot of the advice that these mentors are giving me because you guys are loaded, or you have families that are loaded. I can't hire a bunch of people and just like whittle money away. I have to bootstrap because I'm just like a normal person. So that was really interesting. Starting the business and getting advice about money was interesting. That's when my relationship kind of changed with the business. I'm so frugal. I'm getting better now because
Well, that's what I was about to say. I noticed before when you said something like, you know, I spend nothing on my business or whatever you said your accountant said. Is that though a fear of running out? And
yes.
Like because that is a scarcity mindset, right? So
for myself, I'm like, fine. I don't know why it's different, but I think it's because I care about the business so much. I would rather that have longevity than for me to spend a bunch of money flying about and doing fancy things. But now it's taken me like 5 years, and I've saved a lot of money in the business that now I'm like reinvesting it back in because I'm like, Lucy, you're fine. Also, my accountant is always like to me, you need to spend some money in this business, babe. You need to up your expenses. I know you don't want to, but you are fine. You don't work this hard to not spend any of it. So learning that it was okay to spend money with the business was a really big thing for me. It was hard for me to learn.
And have you upped that quite a bit? Like, have you actually now started, or is it still a bit of a like, oh, that's giving me like a stomach drop
no,
of spending?
I'm actually now, I think I have agents now that help give me like a little bit of business advice, but mostly I can have security that more work is going to come. And with the newsletter, now that it's at a place that I'm comfortable with, like I feel like I'm no longer growing it anymore. I'm being scared. It's grown to a point where I'm comfortable. I have recurring income. So now I can spend money because I know it's going to keep coming in. But with social media at the start, I would literally think, scarcity mindset with my business, I would think social media might end in 2 years. I won't actually have a business. So I want to make sure I have enough money in the bank for another 2 years of at least my salary or whatever.
I mean, I guess it almost sounds like you had not a scarcity mindset, but like quite a sensible, tight mindset because like for valid reasons. And I saw this quote the other day. I think it was from James Clear, that guy who wrote Atomic Habits, and it was something about like confidence. No, it was really cool.
Have you
like,
read it?
No.
Oh, great book.
It's your favorite, isn't it?
Oh my God. Okay.
So good.
It is a really good book. But anyway, he does this newsletter and he just has like these thoughts. They're really short and like it's like 1, 2, 3. And one of them was about confidence. And the essence of it was the best way to like have confidence is to like genuinely believe you can in your ability to do the thing. And and in a way, like what you're saying is you were kind of scared to spend money from a business perspective, but now you've learned you actually have confidence. No, you don't need to. Therefore, the genuine confidence in spending
and to know how to get it back. I'm confident I can get it back.
It's also the understanding, right? It's like, no, if you spend this, you're not going to end up in debt. You're not going to end up losing a whole bunch of money. Like you can spend it. And it's like, yes, you might not take that advice in month 1 or month 2, but maybe in month 6, you're like, okay, I now trust this person.
Yeah.
And I trust that
myself and the business.
It's not going to rock the boat completely. And like, I'll do it this month. Oh, that was fine. Okay, I'll do it next month. You know, like it's kind of, it's like investing, right? You just do a little bit, you start a little bit. Oh, okay, that was fun. That was exciting. Do a little more.
Yeah. And I think I was 21 when I started the business and now I'm 27, and you do a lot of like life learning in that time. So you just genuinely become less scared of a person, and so less scared to spend money and take risks, I think.
Okay, Soph, your turn.
My turn. Mine was just so different because when I was younger, I actually did competitive gymnastics until I was like 18. So like my whole schooling, I went to school obviously, but gymnastics kind of came first. Like I was competing and training like before school in the morning. Like it was quite intense. So I didn't really ever have time or like capacity to think about the idea of earning money.
Yeah, if you're a child star.
Yeah.
But I
oh my God, you're from that show. What's that gymnastics
Dance
show?
Moms.
Dance Moms.
No,
Dance
it's not.
Moms.
There's not a
Dance
gymnastics show.
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure that's like a child's like
They're
dancing.
yelling at the kids.
Wait,
and
did
like,
you
Oh
get
no,
paid?
it was pretty intense. No, so it's kind of like if you in Bulgaria or Russia, it's their national sport, but New Zealand and Australia and stuff, it's really underfunded. In Russia or parts of the world, gymnastics is like our All Blacks or our, you know, like it's like kind of pedestal, whereas gymnastics in New Zealand, no one really cares.
Were your parents like, don't do gymnastics, do rugby?
Well, yeah, because they're like, this is expensive and they have to pay for everything. It was a really expensive extracurricular activity. I was really lucky to do it. But because of that, I never had like a side hustle or like a job in the weekend or anything. So I think I've always had your confidence in you thinking of yourself as a little asset that can earn money.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had the same confidence in my ability to earn and therefore to have this feeling of like, I'm going to be okay because I can earn money. And I think that's because I didn't earn money from a young age. And then I would say also the other thing was money in our family was like, neither of my parents had particularly great, which I think is probably not universal because I know your mum had a lot of money education because she was an accountant, but a lot of people, unless your parents work in a financial role, you don't get given financial education, which is the whole reason we called this podcast IOU, you know, because like I think as a society, not a lot of us get money education, but both my parents were always quite stressed about money, and it was definitely this underlying feeling within our household of like, I don't know, asking for things and not having enough, but also I think, oh God, there's so many layers to this. And this is, I guess, just an example of, this is the tip of the iceberg for me. I could speak for hours on my own money journey, so I won't like, you know, like
spin off to a solo pod. Okay, guys, I actually just need this.
But
episode 2 is just Sophie.
No, but I was going to say, I think like my, there's also elements, like I was very lucky to go to my parents prioritized education in the sense that they really wanted to send us to a private school and like, which is so privileged, you know, like, and my grandparents paid for a lot of it. But anyway, the point is that I was kind of always surrounded by people who had a lot more than me. So I was kind of the underprivileged within the privileged, if that makes sense. So, you know, going to friends' houses, I was always like, wow, this is nothing compared to where I live. There was just like a lot of comparison. So, and because I didn't understand the concept of money, when I would ask for things, my parents couldn't afford to keep up with what my friends had.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand it. And I think that now I'm older, I'm like, wow, I feel so guilty for how much pressure I put on my parents to try and keep up with an environment that they just were never going to be able to do. But yeah, I think that the way that it's kind of flowed on, and I've definitely spent a lot of time looking at this, is there's things that make me feel super anxious when I spend money, and there's things that I really don't feel anxious about. And I think that one of the biggest things for me with my own journey with money and like what's been so helpful is me noticing when I get really anxious around money and feel nervous about it, and then times where I spend really freely, like for me buying stuff that is almost external facing or like quite flashy, whether it be new clothes or things to make me look a certain way, that gives me a lot of anxiety because I feel guilty about it. And I think that stems into what I was like asking my parents to spend money on when I was younger. Whereas I've realized how much I value things like health and well-being, or like spending a lot in Planet Organic or whatever. Like for me, that doesn't bring me anxiety, but there's stuff that really does. So I think I mean, look, I still get super like anxious with money, and I haven't, you know, fully worked my way through everything. But
I also don't think you need to, right? It's me being conscious of like, okay, this stems from something bigger. It's not
really
this
my
doesn't
fault,
define me. It's not my fault. It's like, it's controlling what you can control and understanding, okay, if that's what brings you joy and that doesn't, like, like even just as an example, like a couple of years ago, Vic was going on holiday with a bunch of friends to quite an expensive part of Europe. And I really wanted to go. I was like trying so hard to like rub my pennies together to get myself there. You know, I was like, I really wanted to go, but it was also, I noticed how much anxiety it was bringing, the idea of trying to get there. And I ended up saying no, because I knew what would have happened is I would have got there for this group holiday. We would have gone out for lunches and dinners, whatever. And the whole time I would have been sitting there thinking, oh my God, someone's just ordered a steak. That's going to be really expensive, blah, blah, blah. So I said no to it. And I think it's just starting to put myself in less situations where I'm spending money that I don't want to be, that makes me feel bad.
Yeah. I think a lot of people relate to that, especially I think in your 20s. Like most of your 20s is going to lunches and either being the person that's like, let's split the bill, which is me, or I'll be like, let me pay for the things for the table, or being the person that is like, I'm not going to get a drink, I can't afford to split the bill. And as a friend, you have to be really conscious of those people. Like if you want to go and you want them to come, cover them or don't make them pay for the shit they didn't eat, because the anxiety, like I know people that still have that anxiety on a huge level of like, I do not want to go to this hen's party because I can't afford to like be keeping up with.
But I think when it comes to socializing, particularly in your 20s, when you're trying so hard to fit in all the time, and like you, like in all honesty, even if you have your amazing friends, there's an element of not wanting to stick out or be the annoying one or be the one that puts a fuss up or the one that says, can we itemize the bill and pay for what we have? And I think that that's something that all of us can do to try and make everyone else feel comfortable, is just being aware that everyone is in a different financial situation
It's also
and not expecting everyone to keep up with you or what you can afford.
It's also, I feel like, the time in your life where your earning capacity diverges. And so it's like when everyone's at school, you know, your parents are usually helping you out because you're being at school. And then if you're at university, most people are broke because you're studying. And then, but then when you start getting your first jobs and like there is quite a divergence. And so there is people that can't afford certain things and there's people that can afford certain things. And it's like just having that awareness.
And talking about it.
What about you, Vic?
My relationship with money is probably quite similar to Lucy's, but started out.
Can you guess how old she was when she first started investing? I'm so sorry to interrupt in your first sentence, but this is the most like impressive thing you'll ever hear, and she might not even say it, so I feel it needs to be brought up.
If I'm basing it on when I first started investing, like I want to say like 20.
Investing my own money when I was 20, but like my parents started investing on my behalf when I was about 8 years old.
8.
So yeah, it was in my name.
Isn't it amazing though?
That is so good. Like, oh my God, I'm not even going to have kids, but
I don't know if
I want to set them up as years.
I don't know if it was a tax avoidance thing. Putting
funneling it into your 8-year-old.
I know, They're like she's not earning, so she's not being taxed, you know. But anyway, regardless,
so cool.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah. And it was actually, I don't think my mum and dad would have realised how much I actually learned.
Yes, by
like,
osmosis.
I don't even think I did until I started unpacking it. But it's like, you know, just getting these checks in the mail, and I was like, I haven't even done chores, and I'm getting paid. This is great. And so that was kind of started the whole like.
And because back then, in the olden days, like you couldn't just go.
Back when it was black and white.
Yeah. No, we would literally get a check and I would go down to the bank and I would open my bank account and put my money in, and I felt so cool. Yeah. Like I was like, this is my money, even though it wasn't.
She was such a cute kid as well. My
God. I looked like a boy. I remember asking, a very similar situation. Like we never went without, but my mum was an accountant. She was very strict with what we could or couldn't have. And so it was, I remember asking for things, and usually it was food related, like, can I have money to go to the dairy? And mum would be like, no, you've already been 3 times today. And it would piss me off. And I would see my sister, who had a job, doing all these things with her friends and being able to like having a lot of freedom and independence. And admittedly, she was 3 years older. So of course she had more freedom and independence, but I saw it because she had her own money. And so I was like, okay, if my parents say no, I need to go and find money myself. And so that led to like my first job, paper round. Yeah. Yeah, I remember doing the paper round and I was like 11.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing 2 of my friends, it was a Friday night, and saw 2 of my friends coming out dressed up to go to a social, like a party.
And at 11.
And you were the little paper boy. Like.
And I had my big satchel with all my papers in it.
This is like really giving Oliver Twist energy.
And they came out all dressed up with like fairy wings, you know, like you got dressed up. And I just wanted to die. I was like, oh my goodness. And they were like, Vic. And I was like, hi. So
surely it was Vicky at that time.
Yeah, Vicky. Yeah. B-I-K-K-I.
And you were thinking, but which one of us is financially independent, ladies?
Know. Yeah. Now I'm like, look at you.
See me in 20 years.
Yeah.
How embarrassing. You've got
your invest this $3 that I'm going to make per round. Yeah. No, but yeah. So for me, having my own money means independence, but I think it's swung a bit too far one way. And it's like the harder you work, the longer you work, the more you put in, the more you'll get out. Yeah. And so it's like I would kind of work myself to oblivion because I'd want more money. And it was like, I think as I've got older, I realized, no, the way to make money is to take more risk. And like, I think that's, you know, like even getting my first mortgage for my house, I was petrified to be that much debt. Like I was just like, I want to pay it back instantly. But even a student loan, even having a student loan, and my mum was like, Vic, it's interest free. Yeah. Like, don't pay it back until you absolutely have to. And I was like, no, but it's debt. It's debt. Yes. You know, like this whole, you know, you need to invest. You need to take a bit more risk if you want to actually grow your wealth. Otherwise, there's only 24 hours a day to work, and also you're trying to balance that with like friends and family and like health and wellness and all of that. You can't just work and work. Yeah. So that's probably kind of how my relationship and what I've been like unpacking. Yeah.
I actually have a story just really quickly. Based on what Vic said about she wanted to go to the dairy to make money. I wanted a Pinkalicious phone, and I think I was about year 6.
Oh my God.
But I was way too young to have a phone, so my mum and dad were like, no, unless you can buy it yourself, you are not having a phone. Challenge accepted. Yeah. Made mum make like 100 billion jars of apple jelly because we had an apple tree.
It sounds so good.
No, apple jelly slays. Resourceful. Delicious. And I just like walked around all the neighbours and sold them apple jelly, and they probably didn't want to, but I remember selling it for like $10 a jar. Like that is a rip.
Which at the time would have been like $500.
So much money.
But also when you see a kid selling stuff, you're like, oh
yeah, I know.
Take my money.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
And then I biked to Harvey Norman without them knowing, and this phone was $69, which back in the day was also a lot of money.
Yeah, and sorry, you found $69 from Apple Jam.
I didn't find it. I worked for it.
I worked for every penny.
Every penny scrunch. I was probably doing the paper run at that time too. And I biked there, bought this phone. Seriously, the people selling it to me must have been like, what is this child?
Wait, so how old were you at this time?
When did with the Pinkalicious? I think I was like year 6 at school, which how old are you?
That's like 12.
Yeah.
Is that illegal? I feel like you should know.
It's illegal. But then I came home with it and mum and dad were like gobsmacked, like, what the hell? But they were like, she's raised the money. But then
she's raised
it's kind of funny when your parents like, not until you do this, can you get this? And then you're like, well, I've done this. And they're like, damn it.
Yeah. And also like I had the bike for my independence, and it was just like a 10-minute bike away. And then I had none of my friends had phones, so I had no one to text. So I'd just ring like *333, which was like the telecom like phone number, and it would just talk to me through the phone plans like over and over and over.
It's so cute.
They're like, oh, this is Lucy again. Yeah. Hi, Lucy. No problems? No? Okay, cool. You just want to chat? Awesome.
You just want to hear the different plans that you can't afford? Cool. And like all I would do would be like play Snake and sit on the lawn and listen.
Snake was great. Yeah.
God, bring back the games. They were so fun.
But anyway, so actually my independence came from really wanting a phone, and that really checks out for me.
I also think if you raise the money or earn the money and then buy the thing, like the gratification of that sort of delayed gratification, learning that at such a young age, it's like if I can get this money together and get this thing I really want.
But I was really bad with delayed gratification, like and I still am. I just want it now. So I swear I just like, Mum, whip me up some apple jelly.
Okay, so while we're talking about you as a kid, I think this is a very good segue. So we've done a bit of sneaky, and we've spoken to your dad, your stepmom, and your brothers. So creepy. And we've actually got voice notes about you and your like money relationship, what you're like with money. Because it's very easy to say things like, I'm really good with my money.
Yeah.
Your family always knows you better, right?
But I think I am going to dispute some of the things they say.
That's fine.
Cool.
You've got
I haven't heard them, everyone, but like, I am pretty good with money. Okay, anyway.
The mum's like, no, I didn't make any apple jam. She stole the $69.
When Lucy was a kid, she went into my wallet and she stole $65 to buy a phone.
And she tells this fake story.
Yeah. I made her jelly.
She's delusional. Okay, well, let's just play some of these. I mean, you can totally tell us if this is absolutely false. We'll just play them and we can discuss after.
Hi, it's Nick, Lucy's older brother. Okay, so Lucy is generally quite modest with her lifestyle. She drives the same car she's driven forever. She still lives with her best friends. But sometimes she does go a bit rogue and drop a little bit too much on, like, a puffer jacket or her yellow Mac. And I think it is kind of my duty to call her out for her Temu addiction. I think it's calmed down a little bit, but she really had it on there for a little while.
You and Vic have so much in common.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Temu feels off-brand for you.
It's really off-brand for me, and it was really when I was like living with my dad, and I really wanted like colouring in pens. And
how old were you?
And,
like,
this was
Temu was like not that old.
No, this was last year, and I wanted colouring in pens and colouring in books. And in Blenheim, we don't have a lot of options, right? But then I would order these colouring in books, and they'd be all like, it would look amazing on the front cover, and then it was all like AI teddy bears and stuff. So like, we're all wrong.
From Temu. I thought it was like a furniture brand.
You buy anything.
You can buy anything.
Like,
it's not
contraptions
good, though.
you didn't even think you needed. Like,
it's not good.
Honestly.
Like if you need something like hold your toothbrush or like
it's
hold your plugs.
Honest, yeah.
It's not
you
good.
get into a Temu hole and it's I need that. I need that. Yeah.
But based on what the rest of what Nick said, very true. And he corroborated me telling you about my accountant.
I also must say I was kind of impressed by what he said in the sense that, I mean, he threw you under the bus with a couple of things, but generally it doesn't sound like there's a lot of dirt.
If he says I'm dropping a lot of money on a puffer jacket and a Mac, that is not crazy things. Like I need that
cold technology for my job.
Literally, and I only did that this year. And first I bought my designer a Mac because she does the Lord's work. And then she was like to me, why do you not even have a computer? And it's because I'm frugal with myself with the business. I don't know why. And then I was like, oh, actually I should have a computer. And now it's like changed my life. And also puffer jacket.
Let's play the next one.
We can tell at Lucy's home when interesting packages arrive at the door every day.
So is this the Temu obsession?
No. This is like the gift giving thing as well. When I'm back home in Blenheim, it's not always gifts, but sometimes I like to send myself stuff when I know I'm going to be home. So it's like I have to delay gratification a little bit.
But
it's like interesting packages. Okay. It's not that interesting. It's usually books or clothes.
Let's play one more of the voice notes.
Hey, it's Ben. I'm Lucy's younger brother. I live with Lucy at the moment, so I get it pretty first-hand about how good she is with money. From a selfish point of view, she's great with money. She's always buying me things, so I can't complain about that. And if I have to tell you Lucy's worst spending ever, it's her decision to get a seafood chowder and a milkshake after biking like 20 kilometres to a cafe that she has to bike back from. But no, on a serious note, I think she is quite smart with her money. She invests, she looks after it, and she only gets maybe one package a day arrive at the door, which I think is pretty standard. So yeah.
Oh, that
we
was
love
really
Ben.
Sweet.
Packages at the door, a common theme.
I know.
I reckon everyone's the same.
But also, can the record show that for my job, I get sent some things like coffee.
True.
That comes once a week.
What do you mean? Like beans?
Coffee, yeah.
Oh.
I also think it's a convenience thing, right? Like I get food delivered. Yeah, like just everything. You can just log on and just get it sent, like boom, done.
But I am like, I do buy a lot of things. But I'm glad that he pointed out that, because he's 22, right? And he's like, he is my little brother / bestie / I just feel like I need to look after him because I'm living with him. And he's, an apprentice, an electrician apprentice, and he's not making that much money. So now that I'm in the position to, it's nice to be able to help him live his life. Like if he owes me money in the flat, I will just like tell the rest of the flatmates to pay me, but not him, I hope my flatmates don't listen to this.
Lovely older sister.
So he's actually
he
really
sounds
cute.
fun, don't you reckon? He sounds like...
No, he's so much fun. And also, I do regret buying a seafood chowder and a milkshake after I went for a bike ride to have brunch with my flat, and I don't know, I really felt like
those two combos are like...
And also, I like don't even drink milk, so it was just like so much cream, and then I had to bike home. Anyway, I just don't think this is important. I'm really good with money, everyone, and I'm not good at ordering food.
We've got one more.
Oh.
Hi, Lucy. You started off being a real hard-working money saver, whether it be raising money through newspapers, selling Kit Kats at a profit at school to pay for your trips overseas, and you didn't spend a thing. You knew the value of money, and now you've got a damn successful business, and I'm forever telling you to take your money and put it somewhere and invest it, even if it's in just a term deposit. Get it somewhere and have an idea of the value of compounding interest. I know you don't lose a lot of money, but you probably could make a whole lot more if you had a bit of an investment plan. And you've got good advice from people about shares and stuff like that. And when you're ready, I'll sell you a house.
How many houses does he have?
No, he's a real estate agent. We have one house.
I'll sell you one of my houses.
Also, he does not want me to buy a house. My dad is the most risk-averse person I've ever met.
Interesting.
So every time I tell him, I'd really like a lovely house by the water, he's, no, Lucy, and you will not want to be dealing with renters and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know the most about this. Just help me.
Also,
I love how you both say raise money.
I know.
Like raise money. So
like we're a charity.
Like you earn money, you make money. Like you don't raise money. It's not like you're like doing a capital raise by selling wood or like, I don't know, but you both said it and it was like quite cute.
But also, okay, him saying she needs to get an investment plan.
Yeah.
He has no idea about my personal finances because I invest all the time.
okay, let's pause the investing chat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, we want to basically, I guess for anyone that's listening, like investing does sound scary, and it's like, I guess when you talk about the idea of being risk adverse or like, a lot of people think, oh gosh, like if I invest, I might lose my money. But really, like what you'll learn through these podcasts, but also the practical courses, like really what you want is to be spending less than you earn so that you can put that money into investments, because that is the fastest way to grow wealth.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you're doing.
And it's so fun and easy. Like, honestly, if I could tell my younger self that I was investing, like I still do it in the craziest, randomest way ever. Like it's not calculated, which maybe isn't the best advice, but like it is so easy that even the craziest person can do it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Me also.
Cash and burn.
Okay, I have a section that I really want to bring to you guys. This is called Cash and Burn because I thought Cash and Burn. And really it's just I've gone to the Shit You Should Care About audience and asked them questions that relate to each episode that we're doing and got them to send in any unhinged stories that they have.
I'm quite excited.
So good.
About the theme. So obviously we're talking about our relationships with money this time. The most common sort of myths that everyone said that they learnt about money was that credit cards were the devil. Like growing up, their parents always told them credit cards were the devil. Whereas I actually don't have one, but a lot of my friends are like, Lucy, that's how I get all my ear points. It's basically making money or making points back on everything I spend. And if you're good at paying them off, then they can be really useful. And also there was a lot of people that said that their parents told them to hide money like in books or under their bed or like.
Surely you lose it.
Yeah, I would lose it.
But then imagine when you find it.
Yeah.
There is nothing better than putting an old coat on and being like,
or you
here's a 50.
Get to chapter 7 and just some notes fall out.
Yeah.
You'd be like, amazing.
It encourages you to read. It's like, damn, I didn't pick this book up in 10 years. I should have. This one is so toxic. My uncle told me that you can't do anything about having a poor father, but you can control if you have a poor father-in-law. So basically marry the rich, the only thing you can control. And imagine your uncle telling you that.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people that date like that.
I agree.
And I used to be really innocent about this. I remember my first ever job, and I was producing this breakfast show in New Zealand. And I remember one of the hosts saying to me, like, when you date someone though, surely you think about their finances. And honestly, at 21, absolutely not. I was like, no way, not even thinking about it.
Are they cool? Are they
same. Are they cute and lovely, and do they love me and think I'm,
amazing,
anyway, point is, if I actually go on a date with someone now and they're horrendous with money, it is actually a red flag. Like I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, but I agree. Weird money advice that this person got given was that it's better to save money in physical cash because then you're less likely to spend it. However, this advice does not account for home robberies, in which my mum was robbed one day and they took her entire cash savings.
No.
So, all of these are like, these people are getting taught some really bad habits from their.
But that kind of works for some people, like the whole like physically handing over cash rather than just like tapping on a card or like putting your card details in. So like I can kind of see that, but you got.
Okay, what about this one? It feels like all the older women I talk to about finances have said no matter what, even if you're married and share everything with someone, you should always have your own stash of money that no one knows about but you.
Agreed.
So I do.
To be honest, I think that's a good one.
So I would never share my finances. Also, prenup. I'm pro prenup.
So am I.
Yeah.
I never used to be. Now I understand it. And
now that you're rich, you're like,
No, but I think it's more just you're thinking of worst case scenario. If you're in a happy relationship, you share everything.
It's just a
if
business
it goes
deal.
sour, then and you haven't got a plan for how to keep things separate or like
marriage is a business deal, and the contract is the prenup. It's like
also you get a prenup regardless of putting one in place. You just get the one the government gives you if you don't actually. It was true. Everyone's de facto after a certain amount of time, right? So it's just like taking control of your prenup.
Okay, I have two more. One of them is another one about relationships. When I was 32, I asked my accountant whether my financial situation was average for my age. There was a long pause and he finally said, "A woman like you will marry well."
I would have been like,
yeah, I'd been like, oh my God, you are not my accountant anymore. And also, are you single? Will you marry me?
So creepy. Like talk about yuck. I don't like that at all.
And then the last piece of financial advice that they got that they thought was a bit unhinged, but I'm keen to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Investing is just gambling for rich people. Yeah, and you know what Sophie's going to say? Let's hold that one for the investment episode.
I was about to say, this is like a whole episode for Vic because she gets so riled up by it.
And that would be a really good title for an episode. Like in quotes, investing is just gambling for rich people. Anyway.
It really roughs me up.
But give some context because...
Well, it's like you can do it. There's so many strategies you can put in place that like de-risks it, right? So it's not like you're just picking like red or black or throwing money at a dartboard or like whatever. It's like, no. You're also investing in something. You're investing in an asset, whether it's stocks, property, jewelry, whatever it is. You're not just
throwing
giving
it on
a casino money. Like it's like
also it's a whole industry with education and stuff that informs it.
And like people have made like how many people do you know that have grown their wealth through gambling?
Yeah.
And how many people do you know that have grown their wealth through investing?
I also think that the thing that's sad about that is that you would be really scared of investing.
Yes, I know. That's bad advice to give your kid.
And it sucks because I think if you don't get this sort of education, which most of us don't, then you could waste, all of your 20s thinking investing is bad and you miss so like the earlier you do it, the better. And I wish I'd done it sooner because I'd be in a completely different financial situation if I just think you got to be careful like with the stuff you teach kids or that you absorb from other people. And that's why this whole like looking at your money story thing's so important because you don't like who are you taking this advice from? Is it people that you really who are amazingly financially successful or is it just random shit that people are telling you?
And usually that's people that have lost money or been given bad advice or like have this fear mindset, which is totally fair, right? They're kind of like something's happened to them and so they're like, I don't want you to risk your money because I've lost all mine or something. But there is elements of investing. Of course, if you want to put money in something that you know nothing about and you want a quick win, like that is gambling, like because it's not
day trading and stuff.
Investing is not a quick solution. It is like you need patience, you take a long-term view, all of that. But we will get into that
in the investing episode.
I figured out how you're going to earn that extra credit.
We do want to finish with a little bit of what we're going to call extra credit.
Oh,
this is like homework.
I was about to say, this sounds like homework for Lucy B.
Extra credit, trying to make it like sound fun. It's like, no, it's homework.
Extra credit.
Yeah. Over the next month, so before the next podcast comes out, I want you to kind of write down anything you spend money on that and how it makes you feel. So to make you feel anxious, it make you feel good, and we'll go through it in the next episode.
I also think maybe with this, like given what you shared, like it sounds like you have got a pretty good relationship, particularly with your personal finances because you've got this consistent income that feels like safe.
Yeah.
But maybe it's also just like putting a lens on shit you should care about. And like when it comes to outsourcing, if you have the money, like just questioning if you don't want to spend it, why is it?
Yeah.
Because like if your accountant's saying you're fine. Yeah, I don't know. Is there a bit of just like a worry around maybe that money running out or that might be an interesting one for you. But what I would also say is if you're listening to this and you think like this has been really interesting and God, I'd love to like actually also unpack my relationship with money. I owe you the practical. We'll link all the details in the podcast show notes. So if you want to know the types of questions to ask yourself and really start unpacking your own relationship with money, you can find more details in the podcast show notes.
Yeah, we should say that the course that goes alongside this is actually me implementing all these things that we learn. So you kind of get to watch me do it. I think it'd be really helpful. Like if I had this as a young person and I could just watch someone go through all the motions, I'd totally do it.
You are still a young person.
Oh,
by the way.
But I think it is
really young.
But it is a thing because like, even for us, like when we particularly for me, like when I started learning about this, the idea of something, but then seeing someone that kind of feels like a friend going through it. Like Emily, our producer, and I, like we sat down together and did our like money splitting, which is something we'll go into in the next episode, and it's in the course as well. But doing it together and with someone and being able to ask questions, it makes it way less intimidating than just, I don't know, doing it by yourself. So I do think having you kind of as the test money for the course makes things just feel a bit like someone can do it with you rather than in their own space, which can sometimes feel scary. But yay, that was so fun.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next month.
Yeah.
Ep 2.
Thanks, God. And I'll go do my extra credit.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Good student. Okay, bye.
That's it for this month's episode of I Owe You Some Money Education. If you liked the show, you know what to do. Rate, review, and make sure you hit follow or subscribe or whatever it is to make sure that you don't miss next month's episode.
And if you want to do I Owe You, the practical course, alongside Luce, you will learn everything that she's learning at the same time. You can hit the link in the podcast show notes.
Thanks for coming, Luce. Hope you learned something, and we'll see you all next month. Thank you so much, the Bank of New Zealand, for sponsoring this episode of I Owe You Some Money Education.
There is an art to starting something new, and just like any art form, you need the right tools to make it work. Whether you're flatting or you're saving to travel, maybe you want to make a career move, the Bank of New Zealand has the tools to help you master your money from the get-go.
And don't forget to check out I Owe You the practical lessons to put everything that you've been learning into practice. You can find the details in the podcast show notes.
Okay, quickly, The Curve was created to empower and educate you about investing, but we are not financial advisors.
Our platform exists for educational purposes only, and it doesn't provide personalised investing advice for your individual needs and should not be relied upon to make an investment or financial decision.
And always remember to do your own research before making any investment or financial decision.
We're here for any knowledge and support you need, but the final call is always yours.
And thanks for being here.
You got this.
Yeah, we know you got this.